Alright guys, what's up? Mike Patrick. In this video, I'm gonna get to it real quick. Antonio Brown. Now we know my videos, I try not to do just news without tying it into something that can benefit everyone's life and bring wisdom and understanding to everyone and give us something that we all can think about, even if it's using something that's in the news that is able to grab your attention, and so you can relate it and then look at that situation within the news and incorporate lessons that could be learned from things that happen in the news into your own life. Bet. All right, now Antonio Brown. Okay, look, this is a very successful man. Okay, I haven't been paying attention to sports that much over the past, I'm going to say, 7 or 8 years, okay? It was a point in time where up until a certain point when I started to not pay so much attention to it, I could have told you about everyone. I could have told you their stats. I could have told you about all the teams, the best players, everything in the past prior to then, and all those things. So I'm a guy, I came up watching sports, okay? I came up admiring different athletes. I came up as an athlete myself, okay? And then I let all that go, okay? And the thing about it is, as far as watching, other people and just centering like the whole basis of my life being me watching other people play sports and knowing everything about other people. I don't idolize anybody anymore, I'll put it that way. Now, so the thing with Antonio Brown, though, this is something we can learn, guys, okay? Look, I've said this before. I know it may ruffle some feathers. You can't make everybody happy. This is real. This is the truth. And this is what's righteous and what's right, okay? Something has to happen with this statute of limitation thing, okay, guys? If a woman truly gets raped, if anybody truly gets violated, if a man truly gets raped, okay, or violated, all right, you should be able to say something about that, okay? There does have to be statutes, and whoever did it or something like that needs to be held accountable. But the thing is, it has to be a statute of limitations, okay? Otherwise, anyone can just say that you did something to them at any given point of time, okay? Let's say you were a child, okay? And you had, let's say, a mutual sexual encounter with someone. And by the time you grow up, that person didn't know you end up being rich and famous. You become rich and famous. All of a sudden, that person gets to say that when, 30 years ago, when we were 11 and now we're 42 or whatever, right? Like, they raped me. Like, come on now. Like, so at some point, guys, we got to cut. At this point, it's not even common sense. It's getting completely ridiculous. You guys have to do some type of statute of limitation thing. People, that's why I talk about morality and things of that nature, values, okay? I was not there in these situations. I'm not in these people's head. I'm not saying that necessarily that they're lying. I'm not saying that they're not, though. What I'm saying is, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be silent about something for 15, 20 years, a year, 2, 3 years, and then all of a sudden, when it's convenient, you come out. So when Bill Cosby, all that time, you wait 30 years to come out, and then you give strength to 20 other people so they can come out. With this Antonio Brown situation, Antonio Brown, I'm sorry. That's another good receiver. I think he played for Cleveland back in the day or whatever. But when I used to pay attention to football, Antonio Bryant. But anyway, all right, so Antonio Brown, though, guys, apparently he's a hell of a receiver. People are saying he's one of the greatest of all time. I didn't even really, I think when he came onto the scene, I just stopped really caring about, watching sports and things like that. And so apparently he's one of the greatest receivers of all time. He's done this thing over the past 7, 8, 9 years or whatever, to where he is solidified in the books as being not only one of the best receivers of this time, but just period. So he must have done some things, okay? And so the thing is, guys, now all of a sudden here's a trainer, a old trainer who apparently was assaulted, and now all of a sudden she's coming out and saying these things. Now, this is not to shame women who really do have situations that has happened to them, and maybe at some point they gained the strength to say something. This is not to downplay that, okay? But what I do want to say is, something that we can find a coincidence in, or is with these type of situations is, it seems to be convenient. Like, okay, whenever this guy did this, when he was at the height of his career, when he didn't have certain controversy tied to him, when he wasn't sort of on the ropes where maybe any little one more allegation or one more thing could bring him down. Now, I'm not condoning, I don't pay attention to this stuff, so from what people is telling me, or not what people is telling me, but just a little stuff that I do see, I don't even give it enough time to go and research how he started cutting up over the last couple years or something like that. I don't even do it. But apparently he had been cutting up or just doing extra stuff within the last year or so. It's like, why does these things come to light now, if that makes sense? If he really did do it, okay? So what has to happen, there has to be some type of statute of limitation. If somebody traumatizes you, rape you, that is bad, that is not right, okay? But the thing about it, you shouldn't be able to have the luxury to wait a year, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, okay, to bring people up on this stuff. Now, I know there is a statute of limitation. I know it varies probably by state and things of that nature, but there needs to be something all together within the country where if you couldn't find the strength or whatever at that moment, because you would think, if somebody did something to somebody, you would think the most vulnerable time or the easiest time to step up and say something would be right away. If somebody sexually assaulted you, you would think as soon as you able to get to, you would be calling some authorities. You know what I mean? But the whole thing of, okay, 10, 15 years, a year even, okay? These things are ridiculous, okay, guys? And if things happen to you and you did wait that long, this is the thing, because I'm not saying that didn't happen to people, okay? And if you did wait that long, I think you should be able to understand that, okay, we can't do anything at this point. Like, you waited 25 years to say that this person did this to you. We can't do anything at this point, okay? It's not to say that you're lying, but you just waited too long, okay? And so, man, for Antonio Brown, other guys, man, who's getting to a point now where you probably can't even have a sexual encounter with a woman without worrying about if at any point within 30, 40 years she might try to say, you know what, that wasn't consensual. He raped me. Come on now, So that's just ridiculous, guys. We got to be honest about that. That's not being logical. That's not being rational. That's complete insanity, okay? Hopefully this was a helpful video, guys. Peace. And with that said, guys, you have to be more careful now, because it's getting to a point where you can have any type of encounter with a woman. That woman it can be consensual, anything. And not only can that woman just say that you raped her, even right after you did it, and it might have been consensual, but she can come back 20 and 30 years and say you did something like that. Now, for you women who would never do anything like that, I'm not trying to come at women, okay? If you're just a decent person, this is BS, all right? So, guys, be careful who you're dealing with, and more so than any other time, guys, you got to be extra careful. I don't care if you got money and stuff, that's even more incentive, because people can get something out of you, okay, guys? And then people are jealous, so even if it's money and fame, some people just hate that you are more notable than they are, and people could just want to drag you down. So be careful, guys. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Peace.